Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, what I'm going to be talking about is how to start an IT recruitment agency, whether you're based in the UK, US, India, wherever. This is how you're going to start a successful IT recruitment business. I'm going to talk about how much it's going to cost, what you're going to need, and essentially the most important part is obviously picking your market. So I just want to get straight into the video really and just talk about the importance of starting an IT recruitment agency. Now, I don't advise people, if you're new to the industry, to actually start in IT. What I suggest is pick a sector which is a bit newbie friendly. I've made tons of videos, so do check out my channel on that. Now, if you are looking and you've got your heart set on IT, and you just, you've either worked in the sector or you've wanted to break into the sector, whether you wanted to be a developer, this might be a way where you can operate in the industry, but on a different level. So, as an IT recruiter, what is your job? Your job is to fill a massive amount of skill shortage. I think out of the 20 tier one, so the most sought after positions in the UK, I think about 11 of them are actually IT related. So, the skill shortage, half of the top, massive skill shortages are all IT related. Now, IT is a massive sector. It is by far the biggest recruitment sector. So, probably about 20 billion is spent on IT recruitment. If any company in the UK has more than, well, pretty much more than 10, 20 people, they've got someone in on the IT side. However, pretty much every company has an IT function, whether it's outsourced or whether it's in-house. Yeah. So I don't need to tell anyone what kind of sector this is. I think it's very much, a massive sector. So what you're going to be doing is, first of all, picking your sector, your niche. What are you going to be known for? What are you going to position yourself as? You do not, under no circumstances, need to say you are just a general IT recruitment agency. You will fall flat on your face. You will not get any business. It's very, very difficult to pull off, even though you may be experienced in the sector. That happens when your company grows. You may look at other agencies and say, "Cads, hold on a minute. Everyone is doing IT recruitment." However, they've got different divisions within the company. So, as a recruitment agency or a self-employed recruiter, whatever you are or looking to be, you need to find your gap in the market. Now, how you do that is I've got five sort of sectors that I recommend within IT that are really high in demand. So, the first one is probably by far the best. So it's cybersecurity. So it's a growing sector. It's not massive. There's probably, I don't know, about 1,000 jobs on at the moment. Most of the time, probably 80% of them will be having agencies help them to recruit for it. The other 20% either don't want to spend the money or they don't actually really feel like an agency is going to help. So they just find it themselves. Now, cybersecurity, thanks to GDPR, is pretty much touching every big company. So it's usually the bigger names, and money isn't an issue. They're willing to pay, upwards of £20,000 for the right candidate. Now, trouble is obviously finding the candidate, which we're going to get into afterwards. Second part is probably the most popular, and it's a growing sector. It was actually hit quite bad by last year due to the coronavirus. It is software and development. So if you've got a company making apps, or you've got a company that have software development, websites, whatever, chances are they've got someone either employed or outsourced. These outsourced companies are massive. A lot of them are based overseas. However, most people that are serious about business and have a big budget usually want in-house developers. Now, the salary ranges from, believe it or not, about 25k, all the way up to, 500-600 pounds per day, maybe even £1,000-2,000 per day on the contract market. Now, with the software development, it's very project based, so it is a contractor's market. So in that sense, you may have, let's say I run a software company and I want my software upgraded. I would hire an agency to find me a software developer that knows this and this language. Let's say, for example, JavaScript and C#, and we want them to develop our software further, upgrade it into version 2. So I can't hire someone because it's just a one-off project. They're going to build it, and then afterwards they're going to, I might just hire someone every few weeks to upgrade it, just off there and make sure everything runs smoothly. So it's just the development stage. Now, what typically happens is they pay about £500-600. Let's say, for example, you as a recruiter would charge around £100-200 off of that, and per day, it's great money. That's why there's a lot of people operating in this sector. Essentially, you can make a lot of money just from one or two contractors. The contract market for software development is probably the most competitive out of all of these five I'm going to list. So this brings me to number 3, which is the technical part. I sometimes call it hardware. So it's anything from, installing computers. It's usually infrastructure technicians. So it's usually people that are, sales falls into this. If you've got someone selling, so you can be an IT sales, believe it or not, there's the sales market you can recruit for just for IT products. And it's quite a good market. It's quite competitive as well. And there's a lot of people working in it, and there's a lot of companies that need to sell their products, and they need good salespeople. So if you can find that and attract them. I know there's a company, I think they've got about 16 employees, and all they do is sales. They just recruit salespeople in the IT sector. Don't look at it as, I don't want to make this whole topic about sales, but sales is very good because people make software, they have it developed, and then they need people to sell it as well. So that's sort of that can be point 4 with that, or joint with the technical part. So if you know a bit about infrastructure of IT, hardware development, it just touches everything really. So that's point number 3. 4, we can touch on data. Data is probably something that can't be sort of manipulated. It can't be made into cryptography falls into that. So if you're into blockchain and all that, you can look at that. Data is something that will probably be around for the next 10-15 years without AI coming into it off of that. So the last one I would say is, AI, sales, but also executive search. So if you're looking for someone that is, let's say, chief of technology, and they're paying 250k, you can position yourself as an executive search. Now it is very rewarding. You probably make 1 or 2 placements maximum every quarter. However, the fees are going to be astronomical. You could probably get 20-30% for certain positions as well with that. So IT is big money. Now, just to touch on fees, the IT sector on the permanent side, you'll be looking at charging about 15% of the person's salary. So it isn't a sector where you're going to be short on money. The lowest I've ever seen is about 12% off of that, and they're very junior positions as well. Another thing to mention, if you do want to recruit for this, it's probably the only sector where every company still wants junior people as well as very qualified people. So you might get a position where it's, I don't know, a junior web developer, and then people want you to recruit for those as well. So it's pretty much an open market. Most companies do require assistance. That's the thing. Now, it's a slightly different market, and I'll tell you why it's a bit of a tough market, because what a lot of companies do is they know it's very saturated. There's not a sector where there's more recruiters than IT. So you email a company and it's their 4th email they've received that week. They've been promised the dream. They've been told they're going to be, sent loads of CVs from all these different agencies, and they haven't received anything. You approach them and you say to them, look, we can help you find your software developer. What they say to you is, can you send me a CV? Now, in most sectors, that would be deemed as, we can't do that. However, in this sector, that's all you're going to hear. So a lot of people go into the IT recruitment sector, and then they realize it's really tough. I hate recruitment. What they realize is there's better sectors out there. However, this obviously video is about IT recruitment. So what you want to do is you want to start with candidates first. Now, this is probably the most important part of the video. I don't say this about any sector apart from IT. If you want to recruit in the IT sector, you have to find candidates first. It's not something you really want to go into and start just blasting out client emails. It won't work. Maybe on the sales and technical side, software development, data, AI, it's not going to work. So how you do this? Cost wise, we're going to touch on now, and then we're going to touch on how the process works for recruitment, how you're going to get paid, and how you're going to earn your money. So what you're going to need, first of all, is a website. Now, website spend can't be on a cheap one. You have to look the part. You may have to buy a theme or design. Have a look on my channel. I've made a few videos on that. Do spend a bit of money on your website, no more than £100. Do it on WordPress. Buy cheap hosting. You're not going to have too much traffic on a website. Buy something that looks professional and clean. You want to look established. Now, you want to have branding. You want to have logos made. You want to look the part, basically. Any other sector, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you may get away with it, but spend that little £100, £200 on your website, your branding, have logos made, because LinkedIn is going to be a big player. Now, this brings me to the other part. With IT recruitment, you do not need job boards. You do not need to pay thousands per year for job boards. The costs are very, very low. What you're going to need is LinkedIn Recruiter. That is it. You might want to buy Octopus to speed things up. However, all you're going to need is literally LinkedIn Recruiter. You don't really want to have anything that is, too expensive, and you're not going to find a good software developer, highly unlikely, on Total Jobs, basically. So all you're going to need is LinkedIn Recruiter to actually recruit. You're going to spend all your time on LinkedIn Recruiter. If you want to be an IT recruiter, that is your life. You want to make your LinkedIn profile fantastic. You want to be great. And you're also going to need, obviously, your email address. The email address is obviously just to correspond with clients, candidates, get CVs sent to you, etc. Now, with IT recruitment, what you'll find is a lot of candidates don't actually have CVs. So what you can do is you can go on LinkedIn, click the little download their profile as a PDF, and you can send that to clients off of that as well, if you really, really want to do that. And obviously, if you've got the candidate's permission, GDPR compliant. So what you're going to need after that is terms of business. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to just download my terms of business. You're going to need that obviously when you sign up a client and candidate. When you sign up a client, you're going to need terms of business. Feel free to download it. It's bulletproof. I've had a solicitor make it for me as well. So average fees, how much will you earn as an IT recruiter? IT recruiters earn the most out of all sectors. It is the highest paying industry for pretty much most IT recruiters, especially on the contract market. It is not uncommon to have, if you're not billing £1 million and you've got good clients in the contract market, you're not doing well. Now, the other thing to mention is other countries. So you can operate IT very, very remote as well. So a lot of the positions will be, hey, look, we need a software developer. They have to be in the country somewhere. That's it. You can, from the UK, recruit into the US. I can recruit into Europe. That's no problem at all. A lot of companies will use British companies as well. They will use American companies to recruit in Europe. So it's very cross-border, and it's also pretty much the only sector. Now, I'm in healthcare. Healthcare is a sector where we can't find people remotely. That's the trouble. With IT, the huge benefit is I need a software developer. They can work from home. We can, do a Zoom call if we need to have a meeting. Yeah. They can come down once a month and we can meet with them. So the candidate market is massive. You've got a good opportunity to actually sit on LinkedIn, find people that you need, and literally charge the client for that. So how we're going to start by finding the candidates. If you want to make money quick and easy, you need to find those positions. The 5 points I mentioned at the start, you need to find these candidates, engage with them, start connecting. It costs nothing. Don't even make your website, just make your LinkedIn profile. Start to connect with candidates and say, are you on the market? Now, the beauty of having LinkedIn Recruiter, which there is a free trial for a month, by the way, you can literally make the profile, start it up, and you can type in software developer, I don't know, JavaScript developer, and click open to new opportunities. What you want to do is you want to message all of those people literally until you find someone. Chances are there's going to be a position that they'll be interested in if you get their buy-in. So if they say to you, look, I'm happy to work with you, I want 60 grand a year, it has to be fully remote, then you go to the clients with the profile. Then you start emailing clients and saying, look, I'm working with a JavaScript developer. I saw you advertising for this role. Would you be interested in hearing from me? As well, would you be happy to schedule an interview? You really need to make the candidates your best friend. They are quite prone to recruiters contacting them to sound a bit different. Get to know them, and that's where you really make your money. Just talk to them normally. Don't talk like a recruiter. Don't do the long, hi, how you doing? A lot of people advise you to build a relationship first. No, just find out, look, I'm an IT recruiter. I specifically recruit for JavaScript developers. Do you want to have a chat sometime? Yeah, a lot of the candidates won't get on the phone very quickly, but by all means, send them voice notes, get them familiar with your voice, send them voice notes on LinkedIn. That always works best. So in order to set up the business and to start the agency, all you're going to need is clients and candidates. I would obviously, like I said, advise you start with candidates first as well. So if you've got any questions, the IT sector isn't the easiest in the world, However, it's the most profitable. Your average fee you're looking at is about 6 to 9 grand off of that. So if you do have any questions, well, that's on the sort of lower end. If you are looking for, positions on the higher or mid range, you'll be looking at 11 to 15. And the IT sector can go pretty much, there's probably £1 million fee out there somewhere. That if you find, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you fill the position. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's been slightly helpful. Just some advice around starting an IT agency. Take care.